Congratulations everyone! We finished the semester. This is technically senior week, and by the end of the week on Saturday, we will have our virtual commencement and our seniors will be graduated. Congratulations to all of our students, and especially our work-study students who have worked with us and worked so hard throughout their time at Centenary. And welcome back to another episode of Shelf Talk, a super informal conversation of all things research, reference, and instruction. As the instruction librarian, I spend a lot of my time talking about researching skills and best search practices for finding sources for research papers and research presentations. I don't spend a lot of time talking about reading for fun, but I want to take this time right now to do that because it is finally the end of the semester, a crazy semester, and we all need a little bit of fun in our lives right now. I do want to take a quick moment to congratulate our graduating seniors. I'm so proud of you on behalf of myself and everyone at the library for all that you have accomplished over the last 4 years. It has been an honor to see you grow, make friends, enjoy your classes, and really just get to know you in general. So congratulations, and I hope you enjoy your virtual commencement later this week. So today I want to talk about the importance of summer reading, and specifically how to read a book. Because believe it or not, I think that there is a right and wrong way to do that. And so I want to break it down into two categories, fiction and nonfiction. So nonfiction are books that provide facts and information about the world around you, right? Fiction books are more like novels. They're stories that somebody has made up. And depending on your interests and what you like, and sometimes even just your mood, you might want to read one over the other. I personally normally have both of these books open at the same, not at the same time, obviously, but I go back and forth between reading a fiction and a nonfiction at the same time. I like that balance because if I'm reading a nonfiction, I'm normally trying to gain new knowledge, and that can be a tiring process. But with fiction, that's more fun. That's armchair travel. That's dropping myself into a magical world or a new world that goes beyond our own earth here. So it really just depends on what your interests are. Because we want to make the reading process worthwhile, right? We don't want to waste our time and read something that we're not getting anything out of. So if you're reading a nonfiction book, you want to be taking in that information. What you're doing is reading the words of an expert or somebody that really knows what they're talking about. They've likely done a lot of research. They probably started as an enthusiast, but they followed that train of thought. They followed that interest through into publishing a book and learning more and more about it and sharing it with the world. So that's really important. But pleasure reading or reading fiction, I think, is equally as important, especially right now because it can be a different type of escapism. There's been some research done on the benefits of reading fiction, and the conclusion is that reading fiction builds empathy. So that means it's beneficial to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else who may or may not be different from you. What I want to do is break down the reading process into a couple stages. The first stage is choose what you want to read. Again, that's going to look different for different people. So this might seem like a simple one, but there are a lot of options out there. So the first thing you want to do is choose whether or not you want to read a fiction book or a nonfiction book. This can be challenging because, again, there's a lot out there, but it also depends on your mood, right? Oftentimes, I'm personally reading both a nonfiction and a fiction at the same time because I like going back and forth. For me, that is a good way to stay excited about the material and to not feel like it's too much if it's a really heavy nonfiction book that I'm reading. Some people only read one book at a time and it's always nonfiction. Some people are the other way around. So it really just depends. All reading is reading and all is beneficial to you. Then you want to choose how you're going to read what you have chosen to read. And once again, that is going to look different right now, specifically based off of what we can actually have access to. You may have a print copy of your chosen book in your home library or on your home bookshelf, or it might be a book that you can get electronically through a myriad of platforms. And that could include Audible, obviously. It could include the free resources that are available through your public town library. And if you're not familiar with those, I'm just going to shout out a couple of them. Cloud Library, Hoopla, Overdrive, or Libby from Overdrive. So I urge you, take a look at the resources that your public library currently has available. If you don't have a library card with your public library right now, many are offering online library cards. You just have to fill out your information and you'll be able to get a card right then and there. That's a really great service that a lot of libraries are providing because of the COVID-19 social distancing. So the third stage of reading a book is reading the book. I know it sounds simple, but what we want to do is make sure that we're paying attention and really enjoying it as we go. But there's also a caveat. Make sure that you are taking notes, annotating, underlining, highlighting, folding down pages, using sticky notes to mark anything that you find interesting or that you want to look up later. My favorite go-to is sticky notes. And you can see here I have an example. All the sticky notes that I've placed inside the book at important parts or ideas that I want to revisit later. I like the sticky notes because if I want, I can provide more notes on what I've just read. So it's an easy visual cue for me to go directly back to that part of the book. But of course, I'm not doing that with fiction books, right? Oftentimes for fiction, I'm just underlining or writing down in a different notebook a passage that I find particularly compelling or an idea that I want to revisit later. Lastly, you want to make sure that you're revisiting that content that you just read. If it's going to go in one ear and out the other, or technically in through the head and out the other side, what's the point of spending the time actually reading that book? You want to make sure that you come away from that experience with something new that you can share with the world. Once you're done with a book, sit with it for a while. Think about it. You spent all that time reading about a certain person or a certain instance in time, and you've gained new knowledge. You want to make sure that you are thinking on it and really reflecting on it and seeing if there are any questions that arise or anything that you didn't quite understand or something that you may want to look into a little bit further. This is a really good point to look at the bibliography or the index portion of nonfiction books. They are there to help you learn more information if you have an interest in doing so. Reading is a process. You need to choose what you're going to read, how you're going to read it, actually read it, take notes on it, and revisit it later. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you're reading in the comments below and provide any suggestions for what you'd like to see in future episodes. Have a good summer and happy reading. Bye.